Hey everyone, in this video I want to tell you one single concept that might revolutionize your business. In business, there is always room for improvement. And especially if you're starting out or you're building up the business for yourself or you're part of a startup, there is tremendous room for improvement. There's always something that you could be doing better. Sometimes you don't know that these are things that you can do to improve, and sometimes you're focusing on the wrong things. And that's one reason I highly suggest that you seek mentors who are doing what you want to accomplish, and you seek the guidance of books. And, I highly recommend books by the most reputable people, people who have gone on to do incredible things in business. And if you read these books, they will point out or pretty much introduce you to departments and areas that you have overlooked. I want to give you a specific story of my own experiences with this, and this is definitely the case if you are making anywhere under $5 million a year with your business. And I've seen all sorts of things that people can be doing better. And again, I don't claim to be an expert, and these are just my opinions, which may be completely wrong. But maybe this might open your eyes a bit. So here's the story. So I really got into internet business and learning about internet businesses and how they work and function and make money. And specifically, I learned a lot about the amateur blog type businesses. And the reason is because I heard and learned of a lot of stories of people who had turned their passions into full-time careers. People who, initially they had a job that they didn't like, but then they had a hobby on the side and they turned that niche hobby into a full-time career. And I've heard a lot of different hobbies turn into a career this way by, creating a website or a blog and growing a following and monetizing and all sorts of different strategies and tactics and techniques and ways of doing this. There's more than one. And so, I'm hearing about this stuff, and I'm hearing travel bloggers who travel the world do this, and I'm hearing people who like knitting and people who like, drawing and painting and people who like magic tricks. They've all created a full-time career doing this. And it just blows my mind because some of these people, they're not the most, tech savvy in the world. Far from it. So I just got very interested in this, and I started learning more and more about how a website should be set up, how, you should add emails, how you should get emails, how you should set up email sign-up forms, how you should structure your website, and all these things. And so as I got into this, I started researching and looking at other websites that I had already looked at in the past few years that only now I started realizing were doing just this. These were websites that I just went on because they gave me valuable information or they were entertaining. And at the time, I didn't know any better. And some of these were dating advice websites. Others were in other random niches. And I really just started looking at their websites and identifying things that in the past I didn't even really notice, at least not much. And I stumbled across one website in particular, and there were many, but this one I knew was doing fairly well in terms of how much money they were making. And immediately when I went onto the website and I looked at a bunch of these things on the website, I realized that there's so many things this website could be doing a lot better. And it was already making quite a pretty penny. And I asked myself, why was this the case? And I came to the conclusion that most likely what occurred was that, this website was set up maybe 4 or 5 or 6 years ago. And, website optimization and website coding technology and site design had improved tremendously. And this website had fallen way behind. On top of that, they did a lot of small, very rudimentary stuff that literally showed that they didn't even put much effort into it. And yet they still had that stuff up. And I came to the conclusion that these people had set up the website initially and just really quickly, casually threw together a bunch of stuff, such as a really simple email pop-up that said nothing more than subscribe, which is like probably the worst thing you can do to get subscribers, because you're not even saying anything else. It literally said nothing more than like subscribe, and then basically this big pop-up that would show up on the screen. And I didn't even notice this before when I went to the website, because I would usually just click off from it. And I honestly realized that there's a lot of stuff that could have been done better, and most likely they had started making enough money that they really didn't have the time or didn't care to focus on other aspects that could have been improved dramatically. And from what I've learned and what I've heard, all of these things could be improved tremendously to increase their success and profits on their website. But they never bother to do it. They have a lot of crappy website designs, and they're really not putting much work into certain areas. And it really just, it blows my mind in a way, but it also gives me a lot of hope, because if people can do this, if people can not put in that much effort, or they can let certain elements of things slide and still knock it out of the park, then can you imagine improving all these areas? And some of these things are very simple fixes. So honestly, I think the message here is that, take it as hope and inspiration, because you don't have to be perfect before you get started, before you start making money. You can be far from perfect in certain ways. Now, the specific example that I have in my head, and there are others that are very similar to it that I also know, they were doing other things very well. At the end of the day, what matters most is actually delivering a quality product or service and value to a customer. If you don't even have that, then the rest of the stuff is pointless. You could have the best marketing in the world, you could have the best website in the world, the best email capture system, whatever, but if you have no product, or your product's a complete scam, then you're not going to get much out of it. So, at the end of the day, they focused on the essence of what they did. And I do think that, they were probably leaving a lot of money on the table by not optimizing and going back to some of the stuff that they could be doing. But hopefully this provided you some inspiration, and it taught you that, there may be certain things that you are overlooking. As always, I'll see you in my next video. Go ahead and leave it a like and hit the subscribe button. The goal for this video will be 20 likes, and I will see you in my next video. Thanks for watching.